Would it be apropos to start this reaction off with a mwahaha? Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So, that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Night of the Demons. This is our first reaction of our monthly movie week for this month, with our theme of supernatural horror. So, this is going to be interesting. This was actually supposed to be our theme for last month, but I decided to kind of preempt it and give Venom the month instead. So he chose all of last month's movie reactions for the monthly movie week as a reward for getting to, or as a reward for helping me get my new laptop and everything. It was just a little extra bonus because he put in so much to help with that, and he didn't really need to do that. But, so I preempted the supernatural horror theme to this month. And so we're getting back to that, and we have 5 movies this week between Monday and Friday. There will be no movies on Saturday and Sunday as is normally scheduled. We're just doing the 5 throughout the weekdays. And they will all be supernatural horror themed. Now, supernatural horror obviously has range, we'll say. There's a lot of diversity to what that can include. That can include demons, it can include ghosts, it can include anything that would be kind of considered the paranormal. And so we're going to be delving into that this week. And I'm excited. Now, I think all of these movies are going to still be requests from Venom. It's just I'm choosing which movies we're getting to. That's the big difference from last month. Because last month, Venom chose the movies, the specific movies, and the order. But yeah. Either way. Just wanted to specify the difference there. So yeah, this is requested by Venom, Night of the Demons. This is one of those movies that I had not heard of prior to it being requested. I did learn after such that it's from 1988. And the title makes me assume there's going to be a night and that demons are going to be running amok. That's literally all I can gather from this. Like, the thing is, when demons as a concept are also so diverse within horror media, it's almost impossible to guess what this is actually going to be like. Because demons take on very different roles depending on the movie. Like, even when they're, like, bad, generally speaking, that they can be portrayed in very different ways. And I don't know what we're going to get into. I don't know how serious this is going to be. I don't know like what the demons are going to look like. Um Night of the Demons though does make me think it's probably not going to be like demons in human disguise or anything like that. Because Night of the Demons makes it sound very almost mischievous as a title. And so that sounds it's like it's going to be more like creature demons than more human like demons. But that's like honestly just a guess. I don't know. I don't really have any kind of like actual evidence to support really any guess I could make here. Yeah, I don't know. I also don't know if this when it came out was a notable movie or not, or if it was something that was smaller, more independent. Because just because I've never heard of it doesn't really mean anything. So I don't know if there's going to be anyone in this that I might know or not. It's kind of up in the air. But I'm definitely interested to see what this is about. So I think we should just get into this and hope for the best. Let's check it out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. We're back with the afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Sorry, I think I disassociated for a moment. To say this was bad would be an understatement. The worst part, though, because I've seen plenty of bad movies, the worst part is that it wasn't even enjoyably bad. It wasn't even fun. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't like, oh, it's so bad, it's good. Like, I don't know, Tommy Wiseau's The Room or Birdemic or something. It's just so unbelievably bad. Because the thing is, if it were just the bad acting, I could probably get around it. But the script is bad. The pacing is horrific. It's unbelievably boring. It's just not a good movie in any way. And it falls into a lot of the traps that a lot of these older movies tend to fall into, especially a lot of these older horror movies. There's a lot of sexism with this. There's just a shit ton of exploitation. And it's just, not to mention the fact that it's like, even if these actors are adults, it's like the characters are supposed to be teenagers, and you're making a point of like nudity with it, which has always been a thing I've never liked. It's like, oh, we're gonna have like this horror movie where we're focusing on teenage protagonists, teenage characters, and then we're gonna show off all these girls' asses and tits and stuff, because I don't know.
pedophilia and shit. Because that's the only excuse for it. There's no excuse to make them, like, high school kids. If you're gonna be... If you want to show off nudity and everything for one reason or another, just make them fucking college students. Like, I understand that, yes, there are a lot of teenagers who will who will engage in sex. There are a lot of teenagers who will experiment with that kind of stuff. But you don't need to show in movies characters who are teenagers, like, and make a point of, like, showing off their bodies in a fan servicey sexualized way like that. It's gross. Even if the actors are, again, adults. Which God fucking better be. It's like, it's still gross. Like, it's one thing if, like, there's a certain, like, point you're trying to make, and it's being used for, like, an important statement being made. And even then, you can definitely take things too far. But in the case of a movie like this, it's just for the sex appeal. Movies like this, horror movies like this, use that specifically as a way to get people to watch. But it's like, again, when the characters are underage, it's just gross. And like I said, the movie's not even entertaining. So it's like, even outside of, like, the kind of offensive stuff, it's like, the movie's just not good. It's not well made. The pacing is atrociously shit. The way it's written and the dialogue is horrible. And again, even ignoring the fact that no one in this movie could act, because I've seen movies with bad actors in it and bad performances and have still enjoyed them. Like, it's not even a funny movie. I don't know if it was trying to be funny. I don't know if it was, like, trying to be horror comedy, but if it was, it failed really badly. Because there was nothing, like, comical that was happening. There was nothing, like, tongue-in-cheek or fun or entertaining at all. And I don't get it. I don't get how someone could make a movie like this and, like, think it's worth putting out. Like, there's really no positives I can think about. I don't know if you noticed, but there were actually a couple points where I was almost falling asleep. Genuinely. Like, my eyes were closing. I was genuinely fading. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, literally almost falling asleep. And on top of that, yeah, I saw that coming. Delivery. On top of that, it's like the effects were most of the time cloaked in darkness, so you couldn't even see them well. And when you could see them, they weren't even that good. Like, this movie came out in 88. It must have had, like, a nothing budget. Because there are movies that have come out decades before this that have had better budgets than this. And obviously, like, even in terms of the 80s itself, like, you have the likes of John Carpenter's The Thing. You have fucking John Carpenter's The Thing and this movie coming out in the same decade. I don't know how that's possible. it's just like none of the deaths were even very interesting. They were just the most bland milquetoast deaths possible. Nothing was like even exciting or fun. Because sometimes that's an appeal of horror movies where it's like, oh, at least the deaths will be good. It's like all of these characters are terrible. It's going to be fun to watch them die. It's not even fun to watch them die in this. The deaths are so bland. It's like, ooh, we're going to poke out his eyes. He's dead. He could survive that for one. Dude gets his tongue bit off. He's dead. Yeah, again, could be survivable. Um, falls and gets impaled. It's like, okay, yeah, he would be dead. But also, that is so boring. And it's just like, and then you even have the one girl who, like, you don't even really see what happens. It's just like she disappears, and then later on, she falls onto the car and she's already dead. It's like, that's so boring. That's so boring. It's so bad. I just, I don't get to say this very often, but this is one of those times where this might be entering my list of the worst movies I've ever seen. I have a list of that. And it's just like, usually when I see a bad movie, it's just like, I don't know, like a 3 out of 10 or something. I feel like it rarely goes below threes. It has to be like really bad or really offensive for me to go below that. But this, I don't even think I would give 1 star to. Again, there's like no positive appeal to this film. It's not fun. It's not entertaining. They don't play it for comedy, so I don't know if it was meant to be comedy. But if it was, they certainly are bad at doing that. Because it's like you almost want to believe that it's a horror comedy because you don't want to believe this was made in earnest. But there's nothing about it that was funny. There's nothing about it that even seemed like it was meant to be funny. Nothing about it felt like it was meant to be a joke or meant to be a gag or meant to be like over the top or anything like that. So it's just like okay. The only thing that felt like it was supposed to be a gag was the very end with the old man and his wife and her like killing him and everything because it's clear that it's like yeah she would have had to for any of that to have happened she would have had to actively have killed him and probably because of him being a raging asshole but it's like that was the only part you could argue was to any degree comical and even then it wasn't even that funny it felt like it was meant to be funny but it also still failed at that. And then it's like the one of the two characters who survives is Roger, which kudos to them for allowing the black guy to survive. I feel like there was a trope in early horror movies where the black guy was like not one of the survivors, one of the first to die usually. Usually the black person never survived. With some exceptions, of course. John Carpenter's The Thing being a possible exception, because it's intentionally unclear if either of them are the thing at the end. But my problem is as well that I don't think Roger should have survived, not because of obviously any of that, but because he was a pointless character. Roger added nothing to the movie. It would have made more sense for it to be Judy. Judy was the main girl, I think. It would have made more sense for it to be her boyfriend, or hell, even Sal. One of those two would have made sense. Roger contributed nothing, and in the end, it's like he just kind of ended up like becoming the secondary main character, the deuteragonist. And it's just like, where the fuck did that come from? You had no presence in this film before now. It's like the entire like first 2/3 of the film, they made Roger the least important, least focused on, least like screen time related character of the entire group. Except maybe the girl he was with, Holly or whatever the fuck her name was. I don't know. I don't care. But they made him like one of the having the least screen time, the least focus and attention. And then suddenly in the last third, he's like, again, deuteragonist, secondary main character. It's just like, where the fuck did that come from? It felt completely random and out of place, and it felt like they just elevated his character to a better position for no reason. I'm not even saying I disliked Roger, but I didn't have, like, there wasn't enough screen time to form an opinion on him. Sal would have made sense narratively. The guy who kind of acts like a douchebag at first ends up, like, showing that he's not that bad, or especially maybe even compared to her boyfriend at the time. And he ends up, while the boyfriend ended up like abandoning her and everything, Sal ends up saving her. That would have been better. That would have been narratively interesting. But no, Sal just falls out a window and gets impaled. The boyfriend ends up cheating on her with the other, the makeup obsessed lady, and gets his eyes poked out to death while having sex. There's no narrative through line for any of the characters. There's no, like, arcs for anything. There's no arcs for any story elements either. It's just like they just threw things at the movie and said, let's go with that, without actually thinking anything through. And it felt so just shoddily thrown together. This movie sucked. It's not good in any way, shape, or form. It is just a really bad movie. I don't think it's the worst movie I've seen, but it's definitely on the list. It is definitely one of the worst. I hope to never see this again. I hope you got some enjoyment out of my cringe, at least. And still a thank you to Venom for donating for this. I'm gonna go watch something even slightly better, just to cleanse that from my mind. See ya all next time. Yeah, that.